All right, welcome on in everyone to this episode of First CSP, the channel dedicated to bringing you the first council shoulder patch issued from each council in Scouting America, both past and present. Today we're going to take a look at Firelands Area 458 out of Ohio. Council was originally formed in 1925 as a name change from Sandusky City and lasted up until 1993 when it merged with Harding Area and Johnny Appleseed Area to form Heart of Ohio. Couple of patches to take a look at today. Heading over to the patch table, when we look at the more recent collecting guides, they do combined all of the T1 variations to just T1, but it was in the older collecting guides broken into two variations, T1A and T1B. We actually have a selection to look at with those. So starting with a T1A, listed with a dark brown border, light blue background, and red letters. The only distinction made between a T1A and a T1B is the letters are thin on a T1B. And honestly, I think it's a little difficult to decipher them being thin, but we'll show you some examples. Let's see what we've got. This first one they have up here is a gauze cloth back. We do believe to be the T1A. So these are the thicker of the letters. We actually have another T1. You can see the browns are slightly different. This also has thicker letters. I believe this would still be considered a T1A. Obviously a different production run, and we know that not only the difference in colors of brown, but this one is a plastic back T1A. Both of these, when comparing, have very similar hues for the blue twill. Nearly the same color as well as direction for the twill. Also, the letters, when comparing the thickness, look relatively similar. So I think these are two production runs, but both these production runs, I believe, would still be considered T1A. Then, let's flip out the bottom one here so we can show a head-to-head. So still a T1A, the top. This we believe to be the T1B. It is a much smoother twill, and we get a much lighter blue actually. Now, there is no distinction in the color of blue, and this could be due to some fading, but the red is still relatively bright, so I don't think this is particularly faded. But we get a much smoother twill, we get a lighter blue on the twill, and when I compare the lettering, especially, like the eye and whatnot, these in person, these look thicker, these look a bit thinner, they're relatively close. This is a gauze back that has then had plastic applied, so it is a plastic back with the gauze underneath. A little different than the smooth plastic back that we had on the other patch. But ultimately, nowadays, these would all be considered T1s, and these are just a variety of production runs from what would now be called the T1. After that, they had the SA2 and SA3, which were gold and silver mylar recruiter CSPs from 1978 and 1980. We do not have one of those in our collection. And then the next one that they did, they basically kept with a similar design. They take away the really nice script font that said Firelands. This is the T4. The T4 came in two varieties as well, A and B, depending on whether or not you had a Type 1 fleur-de-lis or Type 2. This is a Type 1, so it would be a T4A. Really, honestly, if you ask me, this is a step backwards for the council when they produced this. I mean, look how much cooler that nice script Firelands font is in the original T1s. Then they just go to a very simplistic. Now, understandably, they wanted to add the fleur-de-lis that became a mandate from Scouting National, but I think they could have kept that Firelands and maybe put the fleur-de-lis up towards the center in the sky, something. Unfortunately, this is what they chose to do instead. I think that does make the T1 a nicer design patch, but we'll put these T1s back up here just to kind of finish out This is the two different ones that we have for what we believe to be T1A, but do look like two different production runs. Definitely two different browns, that's for sure. And that is what we've got. If you've got more information on Firelands, the council, their first issues, the T1s, their number of production runs, or what the backs of your CSPs look like, feel free to drop that in the comments. We'd like to collect all of that information for everyone watching so that we have it as historic record. If you've got, I've not seen the SA2 or SA3. If you have those recruiter patches in your collection, would love to share us. By all means, our email contact is always in the description of every video. You can send us that. Whenever we do get photos, which is kind of rare, but when we do, we try and share them on our X account, which is linked below. We don't do a lot of posting on X, but should you want to find any of the content that we've received and been able to put up and share with everyone, we do put it up there. We'll be back again tomorrow with another brand new episode. We hope to see you then. I want to thank you all for stopping in today and tuning into the videos. Really appreciate y'all, and we'll see you on the next episode.